Good morning, everyone. My name is Dallas May. Hold on. Today, we're doing a react video. Today, we are reacting to a movie review by Decker Shado. Now, Decker Shado is hilarious. I will say, Decker Shado is hilarious. And to beat it all, there was one kid in my whole high school that actually almost looked like him. Where the fuck's the K? Decker Shado. We're reacting to Tremors 2. Now, Tremors 2 is one of my favorite movies as a kid growing up. It really was. So, Tremors 2. And this is a react video. This is not a movie review. So, we're going to see just how Tremors 2 holds up. According from what Decker Shado says. Wish I had a better operating system than what I have right now. Can you see me? It's really dark in here.
Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Dark Shadow, the internet personality who really needs to go to the salon for some anti-frizz treatment.
What's up, Shado?
4K. On topic, we're continuing our look at the Tremors movie series, with the first sequel in this series released
Uh-oh.
in 1996.
There.
Tremors 2: Aftershocks. Some say this is the high mark of the entire series. Others are of the opinion that it completely ruined the Tremors franchise and is a steaming pile of monster shit. What exactly is it, though? Tremors 2 follows the story of the first, but quite a lot has changed in 6 years. For starters, very few of the original cast return to reprise their roles, and not only do they name and explain the origins of the monster, but kinda sort of ignore a few points made in the first movie. But hey, I can't really make a judgment call until I see exactly how it goes down. So let's take a look at Tremors 2 Aftershocks, spoil the whole fucking movie, and answer that question in the most direct way possible. The film opens up to the beautiful rolling hills of Chiapas, Mexico, where we find a lone oil worker engaging in some peculiar behavior. Either someone really loves their job, or I have played way too damn much Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball in my time. Or there's this big, horrible subterranean monster trying to kill them. Could be that, too. But what luck.
Okay, my question is, why doesn't he just stay up there? I mean, come on, dude. The thing can't already reach you. You're already way up high. The thing can't reach you.
There's a convenient stack of barrels just out of frame. This means he can escape to the
No.
truck as long as he
There.
is able to complete this physical challenge.
Bye-bye.
Sadly, this character played by Thomas Rosales doesn't actually have a...
And he was in Jurassic Park 2. He played as Carter, the dude with the headphones that didn't hear anybody talking to him until somebody threw a rock at him.
real name. They just called him Oil Worker in the credits. Well, he's Mexican and food, so let's call him Jose Ole.
Okay.
However, he's not who we came to see, so we just jump over to Earl Bassett, again played by Fred Ward. We see in the time since the first movie, not only has his life separated from Valentine's, but he has started ostrich.
I want to point out that Fred Ward, in a few movies, I have seen him wearing the same black cowboy hat. Why is he always wearing a black cowboy hat in some of the movies that I see him play in? I mean, does he just love wearing a cowboy hat?
Farming. Something he is terrible at.
Now you and Susie are gonna make me some little birds, or I'm gonna take some barbecue sauce to both of you.
Earl, I don't know how to tell you this, but this is what a female ostrich looks like.
Are you kidding? Earl, how do you not know what a female ostrich looks like? I mean, you are an ostrich farmer. How do you not know that you have two males? Moron.
His mundane life is interrupted, though, when a taxi rolls up carrying Senor Ortega, and no, I didn't make that one up, played by Marcelo Tubert, and Chris Garton as Grady Hoover. They have tracked Earl down because his expertise may be needed for a problem they're having on their oil field.
We have now determined that the men were killed by certain large underground animals.
But it's okay. The monsters now provide us with billions of dollars worth of natural gas.
Graboids. Ah, I told you that's what they named them.
Yeah, as nice as it was in the first movie that they didn't have a name, the first thing they do here is establish that, yes, they have a name. And in fact, it's one of the stupid joke ones they came up with in the first movie. In 6 years, you would kind of expect them to name the creatures, so I guess you could let that slide.
We need someone, an expert, to eliminate these creatures.
Why the hell am I getting such a strong Aliens vibe from this movie? Possibly because Earl, one of the only people to see this thing and live, doesn't want to throw himself to the wolves, even if a small planet is in danger. Mexico. I'm in Texas. It may as well be another planet, and that's where all the aliens come from, isn't it? But Grady isn't going to give up so easily, following Earl into his home to convince him and make small talk.
Oh my God, you got your own one of these. I bet you made a fortune off this. Quarter. Well, somebody did. Sure wasn't me.
Hold it for a fucking second.
Ah! What did it do? I was trying to pause it and it went back. God damn it. I'll have to go back to where I was.
Great sleep is vital to
Really?
our health, and
Frickin'
Sleep
commercial.
Outfitters is just a click
Or
or call
ad.
away. We'll help you get
Get
everything.
out of here. Right about here. I was going to point out, how the fuck come he didn't make any money off of that? I mean, he was there when the freaking...
Jeez.
I mean, he was there fighting the Graboids. And they established a game of the events. So how come he didn't require any fundamentals or any substantial compensation for that? You know?
I bet you made a fortune off this. Quarter. Well, somebody did. Sure wasn't me.
Hold it for a fucking second. Didn't you just say...
Ah, I told you that's what they named them.
Yeah, less than 2 minutes later, we established that there was a super mega smash hit video game based on the events named Graboid. Okay, what the fuck is Ortega's excuse for not knowing what the hell they're called?
Good point. How the hell does he not know? I mean, there is a super freaking smash video. I can't even say it. Video game of it. And all the history of the first event. How the hell would he not know what they're called?
Thing is, they established that due to not lawyering up, Earl actually mishandled his rights on a lot of things, capitalizing on his story, so despite his fame, he is still broke as fuck. This adventure may well be a way to turn that around, though, as Ortega is offering $50,000 for every Graboid Earl can kill.
Maybe this is your big second chance.
Okay, now that sounds like a fair deal. If there's ever a job like that, somebody please hire me.
It's
50,000 is one thing, but I could have had free beer. I passed it up. But you gotta start somewhere, so Earl accepts Mr. Ortega's offer, along with Grady.
I don't even know you. I drive a taxi, I live in a crappy apartment, I watch too much TV, etc., etc. Look, you're gonna need a partner.
And Kevin Bacon's nowhere to be found, so you stuck with me. With that, they make their fun.
Okay, I can see that. I love this part right here in the movie when Earl says to Grady, well, maybe you will come in handy. And Grady's all like, yes. And he says, when they're eating you, it'll give me the chance to get away. And Grady's like, aw, I'm sad now.
Final preparations to head out, cueing the kick-ass soundtrack. What the fuck happened? Was there a mariachi band right at the border? After arriving at the site,
That is funny. What the fuck happened? Was there There, mariachi band right at the fucking border. Oh, that was funny. I could just picture that in my head now. As soon as they cross the border, there's a mariachi band just waiting to cut into their soundtrack. Wait. Oh, you did Eight-Legged Freaks too? Nice.
They meet Pedro, played by Jose Ramon Rosario, and while getting acquainted with everything, find out that Ortega neglected to mention a little detail.
Oh, by the way, I have some good news. We are prepared to offer you double the price if you are able to capture one of the animals alive.
Double? No, we weren't going to study them. Not to bring them back, but to wipe them out.
Have you ever seen one of these things? It is only a suggestion.
Well, I say we should nuke this site from orbit. It's the only way to be shit.
You nuke Mexico, there's gonna be nothing left. You realize that, dude. So just going around and blowing the shit out of them is a more ideal way to go. Instead of just dropping one freaking atomic bomb on Mexico, that would just completely wipe everything out, including humans that live there.
Or, except
I swear to God.
the fact these creatures are subterranean, therefore.
I need to get me a new controller. Because this stupid stick right here is messed up.
Alright, we'll see about capturing a live one for you. Thus ends most of my Aliens references for this review, and thankfully we're not watching Carnosaur 2 here. We still have some important characters to introduce though, such as Kate Riley, played by Helen Shaver.
Hey, Ron, are you thirsty or anything, you guys?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am.
Early, you just met her good at least 10 minutes before you whipped it out. Showing them
I'll
around the
give
lab
him
and
that.
letting them know what they'll be using, she also introduces her assistant, Julio, played by Marco Hernandez.
You know, you must have made a lot of money, huh? The royalties on that video game alone. Ooh.
Hold up. You're telling me that there's a Super Smash video game of Graboids, and the co-workers of Mr. Ortega knowing about all this going on, and yet he still doesn't know the name of the Graboids. What the hell is this excuse? Where has he been? Living in a cave? Well, probably.
Super Mega Smash hit, including in Mexico! Why the hell didn't Ortega know that Graboids are called Graboids just like they are in Graboid?
Exactly!
This just about covers all the character introductions, as we have a much smaller cast this time around. Along with all the toys Earl's asked to take care of the Graboid problem, he's also got to strategize with Kate. Or find an excuse for this anyway. Sexualizing a woman's ass. I will not stand for this inequality. And unrealistically depicting women as actually wanting of sex. That's it! I'm starting a hashtag! But social media won't be enough to take the Graboids down. So instead, they track down the area the creatures have been hunting in, come up with a big, clanky metal lure to make vibrations.
Okay, why the hell are you dragging that damn thing around? I mean, we established in the first movie that you make the slightest noise, they're gonna come after you. So clinging around that chain with all those cans is freaking setting up an alarm bell for the Graboids. Idiot.
Which, strangely, are not summoning the Graboids to this location, so who
My
knows, of
point
course.
exactly.
And head out to Graboid country, equipped with a seismological Graboid motion tracker.
Seems like everything's working okay. Well, sure it is, Earl. This is a high-tech professional operation here.
You're not Carnosaur 2 movie. Stop it. Once they reach the target location, Grady deploys the Graboid lure, and the two men head out to hunt some monsters. Doesn't take long before they get a reading on the Graboid detector, and phase 2 of the hunt begins. What, did you think I was being metaphorical when I said they got the toys that Earl requested?
I was expecting C4 to be strapped to the RC car, not dynamite. And second of all, how is a dynamite wired to the remote detonator thingy? I mean, I don't see no wires or anything. Is it an electrical dynamite? Which I don't think exists. So, how the frick is the dynamite active when the Graboid swallows it? Good question.
Despite the last movie showing over and over again how a Ford truck does nothing to stop the Graboids, their strategy is to stay invulnerable on the truck, tempt the creatures with an RC car carrying dynamite, and once the bait is taken... which is all well and good, but the monsters from the first movie learn from their mistakes. Pretty quickly, too. And how the hell are they going to take the next one out?
That is true, because the freaking Graboid spit the dynamite out as soon as he tasted it. So yeah, I could kind of see where Decker Shadow is coming from that point of view.
Okay, well then 2 of them were dumb enough. It was a larger population of Graboids. I gotta admit there have to be a few stupid ones in there, but you can't just keep using the same strategy until the end of time. Or it could be so effective they do a goddamn montage. The fuck happened?
Yeah. I mean, in the first Tremors, they were kind of smart. They were trying to knock people off their buildings. They were spitting the dynamite out and destroying the cars. So in a way, they were kind of smart. In this one, the Graboids are kind of stupid to fall for the bait after seeing several of their friends getting blown up. So, I don't know why they got stupider.
The 2 guys are so ridiculously good at killing Graboids, not only am I starting to wonder how the hell they needed to track Earl down to do this in the first place, but they're starting to get complacent, leaving a radio on the ground to get gobbled up, and Grady walking out in the open away from the inexplicable safety of the truck.
I know that song.
As usual, no matter where you go, the radio station's just playing the same fucking songs over and over again. Slightly less heinous, this means a Graboid has come to kill them. Unfortunately, it misses Grady, but that doesn't mean they're safe.
Oh no. Snag the chain.
Grab some bolt cutters?
Okay, yeah, that is smart, grabbing some bolt cutters to snap the chain. That would be smart to pack those. I mean, sure, yeah, it'll work.
Bolt cutters could snap that and take care of your problem.
Agreed!
What do I do?
Fuck if you don't got bolt cutters, what are those guns in your window? I mean, it's harder to break a chain with 5.56 than most movies make.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of smart. If you don't have bolt cutters, just shoot the chain. I mean, it is something better you can do besides sitting around in the truck, being dragged around like a rag doll.
Make it out to be, but at least it's something you could be doing other than screaming like ninnies while comedic music plays. As they can't figure out how to take care of this problem, the Graboid drags the truck around, heading straight for a cliff, which is how one died in the last movie, so it stopped.
Wait, if the Graboid went straight over the cliff, wouldn't the chain yank itself out? I mean, think about it. Going straight over a cliff, it'd be just yanking that chain right out of its mouth, so wouldn't that have worked? Or would it just drag the truck off the cliff? Good question.
And changes course, this time heading straight for a boulder, which ends up snapping the chain and leaving the guys relatively unharmed. But from this vantage point, they learn something horrifying.
Oh shit.
8 Graboids are drawing near, and that's twice as many that even existed in the last movie, so you know they're serious.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna need some help. Quick, get on the horn to Mattel. We're gonna need a hell of a lot more toys. Or they could call up Burt Gummer, again played by Michael Gross. Despite this being a call for backup, they make a little small talk first, which doesn't feel too out of place as it gets us caught up on how Burt's been doing between movies. He doesn't take too much convincing, though, once Earl drops the bomb.
Find myself in a sort of situation. What kind of situation? Graboid.
I love it how Burt has that freaking Graboid head mounted on the wall. That's just freaking awesome.
What kind of situation?
Those bastards are denying your royalties again? Ah, kill them! With that, Burt arrives at the site in Mexico, along with a few provisions generously provided by the local military. It's not all for himself, though. He brought a few spare side-by-sides for Earl and Grady.
We're not hunting.
So, in other words, Burt is prepared for World War V. With as much explosives as he has in the back of that truck and the advanced weaponry he has, I'm sure he's prepared for World War V.
Rabbits down here, Burt. Not shotguns. Double rifles. Elephant guns.
We're not hunting elephants either. I killed one of the things with those in the
I want to point out that the gun Burt used in the first movie was a little bit bigger than that double barrel shotgun Earl has. Well, elephant gun. Because the one Bert had fired shells almost about like that, and they're almost that big around ish. So how the fuck come the shotgun Earl's using, or elephant gun he's using, is smaller than the one Bert used? Because in the first movie it was a little bit bigger.
First movie, dickhead. In case you're wondering where Reba McEntire is, though, well, that's another actor they couldn't bring in for the sequel, so Heather and Bert broke up.
Called me, told me to send her the HK-91.
Ouch. I tried telling her you couldn't just send it FedEx and it had to go through a federal firearms license dealer, but then she just started yelling at me. But with Bert here and the experience he brings, what kind of new strategies will they employ to wipe out the graboids? Same fucking one. Well,
Yeah.
what the fuck reason did they have to call Bert up then? Fortunately, he did arrive just in time for our guys to witness something very strange. A graboid is not taking the bait. Even though I should have figured out all my friends are dying from eating RC cars weeks ago, but the creature is actually running away from Earl and Grady's truck, despite thinking something must be up. They follow and find this. Look out! They learned to do the jump scare! Freaking out, Earl backs his truck off a cliff, but fortunately not a very high one. This does leave them stranded, however, at which point they realize something. The graboid is not rushing in to eat them. In fact,
So
it's
shoot
just
it.
lying there, groaning.
Must be
Shoot it. Don't go poking at it. Just shoot it and get it over with.
sick. Probably ate somebody that didn't agree with it.
So it's swallowed Lewis Black, and he's still in there complaining about it?
That's $100,000, Earl.
Oh, yes! Can I just point out that $100,000 is fucking chump change?
He does have a point right here. $100,000. These guys already made what, $250,000? Maybe $500,000 already. I mean, with as many graboids as they've already killed, they have to have made quite a bit already. So, 100,000 isn't really a jackpot. Alright? Now, if you caught 4 of them at once, which would be humanely impossible, but if you did, then I would see the reason to start celebrating.
They've already made at least $500,000 from blowing them up alone, so it's hardly a jackpot.
My
And
point
also,
exactly.
in my opinion, a live graboid would be worth a hell of a lot more than $100,000.
I'd say about $500,000 for a graboid. That's about what I'd expect to see a graboid worth, if not $1 million.
As they are stranded and have a living graboid to bring in, Earl gets on the radio and calls back to Kate, telling her to send Pedro with a big-ass truck with a crane to help him out. As this movie has established that cars are perfectly safe, despite all the evidence to the contrary in the last movie, this means they can just camp out until Pedro arrives.
And I will say, the noises the graboid makes here, they did freak me out as a kid when I was younger. When I was about 7, 8, maybe 9. When I first heard those noises, it freaked the hell out of me. So, yeah.
God almighty.
And it's very fortunate that no other graboids show up, despite them being sensitive to sound vibrations, and that's loud as fuck.
Yeah.
Considering they can't get any sleep, Earl and Grady decide to check on their investment. What they find is, well, pretty fucking bad.
Something ate it. In 2 minutes? Well, something happened to it, because there is nothing left inside.
I think I understand. Earlier, it must have burrowed its way into a Pop Rocks factory. Along with that mystery, there's also the fact that Pedro hasn't arrived yet with the crane.
Honestly, I thought the graboid had given birth to baby graboids, and they were all, like, scattered out or going somewhere and then growing up into bigger graboids.
The guys spot him on the road, but then he stops, and after waiting for an undisclosed period of time, the men head out to reach him. When they get there,
I want to point out this here. Earl turned Grady into a pack mule and has him carrying all the necessary survival equipment. The water, the weapons, the ammo, the dynamite, RC cars, everything. And all Earl has is a seismo monitor. Okay, Earl, you idiot. You're having Grady carry all the necessary survival equipment. If he gets eaten, you ain't gonna have shit in your hands but a freaking computer monitor. Alright, that's all you're gonna have. So, if Grady gets eaten, you're freaking knee deep in graboid shit with nothing to defend yourself or as a means of survival. Smart move, moron.
Find that the vehicle has been torn to shreds, while Pedro himself was horrifyingly and terribly killed while off screen.
Yeah.
And what the hell he was doing in the back of his truck when he should have been driving, I don't know, but there's your first problem. Unable to call for help as the radios are out, Earl and Grady head off to a local radio tower. Sure, they'll have no problem getting a good signal over there. Of course.
Oh, man. We haven't did a goddamn thing.
The creatures have torn through all of...
Grady, you're making noise, you idiot. If there are graboids about, then you're drawing their attention by all that metal clanging, you idiot.
the electronic equipment already, except for the seismographs, which aren't showing any more readings. So what could it be? Something answered very quickly as Earl and Grady find a car to hotwire, but before they can head off, must be ready to shoot as something is drawing near. The new critter for this movie. It's much smaller, much easier to see coming, and not even remotely subterranean. Also making me wonder why the hell the movie's still called Tremors. In a few seconds,
Honestly, when I first saw the Shriekers, when I was little, I always thought they were baby graboids, and they just grew into the bigger giant worms and lose their legs. That's what I honestly thought the Shriekers were supposed to be, because they do share a similar head shape and form as a graboid, and they do have a similar tongue to a graboid, except without the mouths. So I figured they grew bigger, and then they developed spikes, and then they developed the three tongues. That's what I thought at first.
our heroes have been spotted. Shit, it hurt him. Which brings up what these creatures are called. Shriekers. Though in the movie itself, they never actually give them an official name. And it's just what the special effects team were calling it while they were filming, and it kind of stuck. They kill the charging Shrieker without much trouble, but before they can take it all in, a whole fuck ton of them arrive. So they must run! Bert, on the other hand, is still trying to head back to home base as he has lost radio communication with the others. And then... But considering I still see him on the DVD boxes of the other movies, I'm sure he's fine.
He's got a point. I mean, the man is a big doomsday prepper, and he does have a shit ton of ammunitions and weapons stockpiled in the back of his truck. Not to mention enough food rations to keep one man alive for at least, 4 years. Second, he's got a very large protected home back in perfection. So with all those things, he'd basically survive World War V if there was one.
It's not like everything is going calmly back at base either, as Kate is worried over the fact that there has been no radio communication for hours, and Julio has just learned the art of the jump scare.
Stay here with the seismos, and then I'm gonna go to look for them right now.
Okay.
Making Julio the third death, and the most important character to die in the whole movie. Which kind of makes me think that not only is the body count not very impressive, but the bodies themselves. With Julio gone, that means Kate is trapped all alone at the base, until Earl and Grady show up to save the day. With this new kind of creature on the loose, they must retreat to form a new strategy. But, of course...
Okay, why didn't they have someone standing outside guard with a gun to prevent this from happening? I mean, you'd think after seeing these creatures, you'd have someone standing out guard with a shotgun ready to fight these things. So it's kind of a stupid mistake on their part.
No, not again!
That would end the movie far too soon, trapping them in their current predicament. But it's not all bad. Despite his fate at the cutaway, Bert has survived and made it all the way back to base. Not that he's particularly bubbly about this.
I feel I was denied. Critical.
Need to know information.
I think it's pretty easy to see how Michael Gross became such a fan favorite. He's got some fantastic lines and does a great performance. It's very entertaining to watch. Plus the fact that they had him kind of divorce his wife in between movies actually had some character growth, which meant he didn't fall into the trap of just becoming a caricature of himself. Kind of worked out pretty well there. Considering how crazy a situation that was, Burt explains to the audience the various skills and weapons he employed to take care of it, and exactly how it went down.
When it was all over, I saw one of the little SOBs was just stunned. So I detained him.
Okay, you two are dumbasses for pointing shotguns at the back of a freaking army truck that has enough explosives to leave a crater the size of an atomic bomb. Well, not an atomic bomb, but an airstrike. So, if you were to shoot that thing right there, right then and there, then you would have blown yourselves up. Idiots. So, being a stupid idiot pointing a gun at a truck, sure, you're pointing at a shrieker, but you're forgetting those shells could go through it. So it could hit those explosives in the back and kill you all. So I wouldn't be pointing a gun at it. And besides, they're pointing at a gun at a shrieker that's tied up.
So do they get 100 grand for that, or just for the graboids? Oh god. I think I just realized that if they didn't read their contracts very well, he might be doing all of this for candy bars. This spare shrieker allows the group to study it and determine its characteristics. The creatures actually can't hear vibrations like the graboids. In fact, they can't see either, but have a very keen sense of infrared, detecting heat. As a matter of fact, the screams generate sound as a byproduct. More importantly, they emit a pulse of heat used to communicate with others of those species. Hell, they even find out how the creatures reproduce.
Hermaphrodites.
Hermaphrodites? The fuck are you talking about?
They reproduce without having sex.
That's called asexual reproduction. Hermaphrodites have both male and female sex organs. Some snails, for instance, are hermaphrodites. The point is, shriekers reproduce like many single-celled organisms. They eat enough and make a copy of themselves. Kind of like Agario, but with more killing. This means the more they eat, the more of them there are.
These guys have taken a completely different evolutionary path.
And I want to point out something else here. There was one shrieker underneath Bert's truck. My question is, how the hell did it end up under his truck and hanging on the whole ride all the way back to the refinery? I mean, how the heck was it possible? I mean, was it like stowed away? Did it stow away itself onto the bottom of his truck? And second of all, how did it hang on? You know? I mean, you would expect after driving so far and so long, it would have freaking let go and get ran over or something.
And there was one left over in the truck that kind of managed to eat a few 100 pounds of rations. Oops. Which means they have to run like hell before they themselves become the next meal, escaping into a building that is hardly going to keep the critters out. But don't worry, like they found out, the critters are blind and deaf. So long as they can't sense the heat of them leaning against the walls, they'll be fine. Therefore, they use a door as a blind to sneak across and escape towards Julio's car. But there is one more shrieker in the way. Don't worry, though. Bert brought a spare 50 BMG just in case. You actually think they would blow apart a little more than that. Have you ever seen a 50 BMG hit a water jug? Perhaps that is explained by the fact that this round didn't dump all its energy into the shrieker, instead penetrating the wall, the barrels, and the car.
And a small building. A small tin building, that is. So, it went through, let's see, 3 barrels, a cinder block wall, a shrieker, a small tin building, and still hit a car.
What? It's not my fault the ballistics are whatever the hell the movie says it is. So, they're fucked. Trying to sneak back around, the shriekers spot them, and everyone winds up trapped in their own way. Bert in a bulldozer blade, and everyone else on the roof of a nearby building. With nothing to do but sit and wait for help to arrive. Naturally, they start yelling at each other.
The reason I'm out of 9mm rounds is I was not properly briefed. And the reason for that is this mission was not properly Researched. How's anybody supposed to research Precambrian life? What difference does it make now?
Paleontology. That's how you study Precambrian life. It's not up there. Nevertheless, trapped as they are, this gives us plenty of time for Earl and Kate to hint at their feelings at each other, and monsters to remember this is a Tremors movie, and they're supposed to be smarter than this. Therefore, after spotting the guys on the roof, they begin working together to lift themselves high enough to catch them. Noticing this,
When they stacked themselves up, couldn't they just kick them off the top? I mean, the ones that were stacked up on top, couldn't they just kick them off? I mean, that's what I would do. Just keep kicking them off. I mean, eventually they'll have to stop somehow. So I'd just keep kicking them off there.
Bert takes the initiative and lures the creatures away from everyone else, trapping them inside a nearby warehouse safe and sound. Except, of course, he didn't double-check what the Spanish rating was, noting what was stored inside.
Nice flower.
They're even mocking him how stupid he is for leading him into a food supply warehouse. So they're like, haha, you locked us in with all the food. So it's kind of funny.
I didn't know. How could I have known?
There are certain points where I'm starting to feel like the monsters are smarter than the people.
Yeah.
However, Bert's broken down truck is in there too, along with all the explosives. Taking advantage of the fact that the monsters can't see cold, Earl volunteers to have himself sprayed down with a fire extinguisher to sneak in undetected. But strangely, at no time falls to the ground screaming, "Oh God! The frostbite! Why did I think this was a good idea?" Of course, once they've gotten inside, the stuff starts wearing off, but slowly enough so that he can be in just the right place to reach one of the bombs, say, fuck it, turn it on, and run like it.
Hold on. Why didn't they send Bert in instead of Earl? I mean, Bert is more qualified with explosives. He would have known exactly how to set the bombs and what time for them all to get out of there. Instead of sending Earl in, which he had no idea how Bert's explosive worked. So he just pressed buttons. He could have set it to 20 seconds and they probably would have all been blown to hell right there. So I would have sent in Bert because he's more qualified with explosives. You know? I mean, that would have been smarter. Because if you send in Grady or Earl, they don't really know how Bert's remote explosives work. They just know how the dynamite ones work. So they kind of made a mistake there. So I know he sets it to the right time and whatnot, but they should have sent Bert in.
Hell.
What the hell was it? I don't know. I didn't have time. I just threw it in your truck. You what? That's 2.5 tons of high explosives, Earl.
Yeah, I was having a real hard time, then I looked down at my wristband and thought, what would Michael Bay do? What they have to do is run like fuck. And I love how Bert finds them hiding behind a cheap plywood structure and is like, no, idiots, find cover! Because this isn't exactly your average firework. Universally solving everyone's problems across cultures. This brings our story to a close with Earl and Kate interested in dating, Grady interested in starting up a theme park based on the creatures, and Bert just pleased to have yet again outwitted and outgunned carnivorous freak.
See, look at the size of that crater. There's enough explosives in there to destroy the entire place. And second of all, how the hell do they get help? I mean, the vehicles are destroyed, the buildings are destroyed. So, what exactly do they do to get out of there? We don't know. But yeah, if Grady and Earl did shoot those explosives in the back, killing that shrieker, they would have killed themselves and everyone around them. As big as a crater, that is. And if Bert set the explosives, then it would have been a better, smarter choice. But, and there's a stink bug on the wall. But yeah. So that was, well, it's not done yet.
Cambrian monstrosities. They're all going to get one hell of a paycheck. And then some serious deductions due to damages. Yeah.
Oops.
Anyway, that was Tremors 2, Aftershocks. Kind of average to me. I was pretty disappointed in the Graboids this time around. Not only that they explained their origins and the scene was so useless to the plot, I had already edited out of the review before I even realized it, but the things are just a hell of a lot less threatening this time around. There's an absolute ass ton of them, but they are hardly a threat. The movie has a body count of 3, and only one of them was taken by a graboid. Furthermore, the graboids don't learn and mix things up like...
Actually, Kate has mentioned that several oil workers were killed by these graboids. But they were off-screen, kind of. They weren't scripted into the movie. But Kate mentions them, so there's still some kills that he forgot there.
They did the first time around. All in all, they're just a means to set the rest of the movie up, both by bringing the people down to the location to hunt them, and by birthing the Shriekers. At this point, the movie is just your basic monster movie, but with Shriekers instead of graboids. Set up like that, it doesn't really stand up to the original Tremors. Tremors 2 feels a lot more generic in how it handles the monster movie setup, with Kate being the scientist, but instead of not having the answers, she pulls answers out of her ass, even when they don't do anything to help the story. However, as much as I can complain about that, the cast was entertaining enough to follow around. It was interesting to see Earl and Bert years later in vastly different situations, and how they handled themselves. Overall, Tremors 2 Aftershocks is a sequel that mixes things up, but perhaps a little too much, losing sight of several things that made the first movie great, but it's not overly terrible in its own right, coming in at 3 Aliens references out of 5. And they usually wait until the third movie before they mix things up quite this much. It's kind of make me worry about what exactly they do in the third movie. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I've been Shado, and remember, paleontology is the study of prehistoric life, not just dinosaurs.
I already know this because I have seen Jurassic Park. And that is one of my favorite childhood movies as well.
Precambrian life counts.
Yep. So that was Tremors 2 React to Shado. I was thinking about doing Phalus's review on Resident Evil Afterlife and Resident Evil Retribution, but nah, I just decided to do Tremors 2 review on Shado. Next, we might do Eight-Legged Freaks. Because I remember seeing that movie as a kid, and it kind of gave me a little teeny bit of a fear of spiders. Okay, that's a lie, a major fear of spiders. Especially if it's a huge one. So, I'm Dallas May, and that's the end of the React video. Was it worth it? Yeah. It's kind of funny. I like the movie Tremors too. I will see you all when I do another React video.